Shakuntala.
By Anandaroop Mukherjee.
Adapted from Adipava, or the Book of the Beginning, is the first of 18 books of the Mahabharata, later adapted by Kalidasa. This is the story of Shakuntala, born of the union between the mighty sage Vishvamitra and the celestial nymph Menaka. Vishvamitra's story is often cited as an example of the potential for transformation through spiritual practices and the pursuit of higher knowledge. As a sage, Vishvamitra is credited with composing hymns, contributing to Vedic literature, and playing significant roles in various mythological narratives, including mentoring Lord Rama and his brother Lakshmana in the Ramayana. His penance was so intense that even the gods were stirred by his devotion. However, the intensity of Vishvamitra's penance also aroused fear in the heart of Indra, the king of the gods. Indra's throne seemed vulnerable in the face of Vishvamitra's ascetic power, and so he hatched a plan to disrupt the sage's meditation. Sending Menaka, a bewitching apsara known for her celestial beauty, Indra hoped to break Vishvamitra's focus and bring him back into the realm of desires. Menaka's allure was undeniable, and as she danced and sang near Vishvamitra's meditative spot, his resolve wavered.
Vishvamitra,
who is this maiden of such perfection? But I must remain focused and keep my mind away from desires.
Menaka. Guruvar, I have come to seek your shelter. Won't you accept me as your Dasi servant?
Vishvamitra,
this is an ashram for men. Please leave.
By this time, the other inhabitants who are still under training take notice, and, not being strong enough to resist their longings, get drawn to this beauty. They seek her company like normal men.
Vishvamitra, please leave. You are distracting the devotees.
Menaka remains persistent, holding Vishvamitra's feet. She pleads, "Take me as your own, Maharshi. I have come a long way." At the touch of Vishvamitra's feet, Menaka feels her intent to fake her affection dissolve. Instead, she feels truly wanting the company of this wise and brave man who had given up his kingdom to attain sainthood.
Vishvamitra understands her feeling and wants to keep her away from the other ashramvasis, inhabitants of the ashram. Vishvamitra accepts her as her companion and provides her his protection, but their bond grows into love for each other, and Menaka conceives after their divine union.
Yet their love was not a part of the plan. Menaka had come to dissuade Vishvamitra from his quest to sainthood. Her mission planned by the gods had been jeopardized by silly emotions. That's what the gods decide, and they ask her to abandon the baby and return to her duty to serve the gods, as she had been brought up to be a Devdasi.
Menaka's dilemma. In the celestial realms, where the light of the gods shone brightly, Lord Indra summoned Menaka, the beautiful celestial nymph. Her task was clear. She was to break the intense meditation, tapasya, of Rishi Vishvamitra, a sage whose ascetic practices were threatening the divine order. Indra had chosen her for her allure, knowing that her presence would disturb the sage's focus. Menaka descended to the earth, and with her enchanting beauty and grace, she successfully distracted the sage. However, as time passed, something unexpected happened. Menaka fell deeply in love with Vishvamitra, and their union resulted in a divine conception. Menaka, who had always been obedient to the gods, was now faced with an internal conflict. The gods, upon learning of the conception, were displeased. They commanded Menaka to abort the child, as it was not part of her mission. They provided her with a potent herb capable of causing the fetus to dislodge and sent her away. Menaka's heart was torn. She felt a deep connection to the life growing within her, and she was anguished at the thought of ending it. Struggling with her dilemma, Menaka sought solace and counsel. In the ashram where Vishvamitra resided, she had a dear friend named Sri Raghav. Unlike the stern and unyielding sage, Sri Raghav's demeanor was gentle, and Menaka felt safe confiding in him. One day, as Menaka was fetching water from the Yamuna, she encountered Sri Raghav by a serene pond. They sat together, and Menaka poured out her heart.
Sri Raghav, she began, her voice trembling. I am carrying a child, a being that is entwined with my soul. The gods have commanded me to end this life, but I cannot bear the thought of doing so. I feel as though my very essence is connected to this child. What should I do?
Sri Raghav listened intently and then spoke with profound calm.
Menaka, understand this. All living beings are embodiments of Shiva. The essence of every life is Shiva himself. The Bengali saying goes, Shiv Jnane Jibar Seba, Shiva Jnane Jibar Sheba, which means service to beings is in the knowledge of Shiva.
Menka spoke.
Messing up with life is not a great thing to endure, I know. Once, when I was 5, I stole a baby sparrow, and it died even after being fed with milk. It was a pain I still remember.
He continued,
You have carried Shiva within you from the moment of conception. This child is not merely a physical entity, but an extension of your soul, an embodiment of divinity. To separate yourself from this child by ending its existence is to sever a part of your own soul. Such an act would be a constant source of regret and sorrow, for your truth would forever be intertwined with the life you end. He started singing a bhajan, Shiva Shiva Mahashiva, the name of Shiva Ramakrishna, Brahma, Vishnu, and all deities, the radiant name of Ramakrishna. Kartikeya, Ganapati, Vishwakarma, Vishwaman, Yugadeva Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, the name of Brahma. In vision, eternal meditation; in reflection, liberation; in remembrance, purification of birth; in reliance, the nectar of immortality. In the union of hearts, Ramakrishna Sarada, blessed by love and liberation, the earth is blessed.
Sri Raghav's words were a balm to Menaka's troubled heart.
In respecting life,
He said,
you must carry it until it is born. Once born, it belongs to the world, and Shiva will care for it in his divine way. You need not worry about the child's future, for Shiva has ways of looking after all beings.
Menaka, moved by Sri Raghav's wisdom, found the strength to carry the child to term. She accepted that the child's life was sacred and entrusted its future to the divine care of Shiva. When the time came, she gave birth to the child, and true to Sri Raghav's words, Shiva watched over the newborn. Menaka's decision brought her peace. She had honored both her divine mission and the life within her. The child grew up under the watchful care of the gods, embodying the divine essence of Shiva, while Menaka continued her life with a heart full of gratitude and understanding. Menka, unable to refute the orders and stand up for what she loved the most, leaves the baby in a basket at the bank of a river. She tells Vishvamitra that the baby had died as it was delivered, which was quite common in those days. Vishvamitra chose to renounce the life he had built with Menaka as he didn't feel the same bond as before, and something told him that their relationship lacked honesty. He chose to return to the path of penance and enlightenment.
Menaka returns to the celestial realms to serve as she did before.
As fate would have it, the abandoned baby girl was surrounded by a circle of vultures. Far from being a scene of danger, these creatures of the sky seemed to guard the child with a fierce yet tender protectiveness, their wings forming a shield against the world. Rishi Kanva, renowned for his wisdom and compassion, approached the extraordinary sight. Rishi Kanva:
A child surrounded by vultures, scavengers protecting new life. God Tai was a sight you meant for me to see. This child must be special.
With a gentle touch, he lifted the baby into his arms, her celestial origins evident in her radiant beauty. Rishi Kanva, in a soothing voice:
You are a celestial gift. I'll take good care of you, child.
Kanva, a sage whose heart was as vast as the forests he called home, knew that the child was meant for something extraordinary. He named her Shakuntala, inspired by the sight of the vultures that had circled her, her protectors and guardians. Shakun means vulture and Tala means below. Under the loving care of Rishi Kanva, Shakuntala's grew. The sage nurtured her with wisdom, love, and the teachings of virtue. Shakuntala grew within the sheltering embrace of the forest, like a flower nurtured by nature itself. She blossomed into a maiden of rare beauty and purity, her spirit akin to the tranquility of the woods that had cradled her in her infancy. One day, as Shakuntala, while tending to her duties to fetch water for the hermitage, a chance encounter changed the course of her life. The forest echoed with the sounds of pursuit. King Dushyanta, accompanied by his hunting companions, was chasing a wounded male deer that had been struck by his weapon. The dense undergrowth parted before them as they embarked on their quest. Dushyanta panting,
We must not lose the trail of the wounded deer. Press on, my brave companions.
Soon the heavy growth of the forest near the river prevented the horses to go any further. Instead, Dushyanta himself carried on to find the wounded deer.
But what was this? The deer was being tended by a fair maiden.
Shakuntala,
Who is so cruel to hurt you, dear? I will protect your soul like this forest protects mine.
as Dushyanta slowly retreats, Shakuntala hears the crackle of a branch and turns around. Their eyes met. Dushyanta's eyes show guilt, while Shakuntala's eyes are filled with compassion as deep as a lake. Dushyanta,
Forgive our intrusion, fair maiden. I am Dushyanta, a king in pursuit of a wounded deer.
Shakuntala, gentle as ever.
O king, nature's harmony is meant to be preserved.
Dushyanta,
It is a game that kings and princes play.
Shakuntala, gentle as ever.
Peace doesn't come by harming another life for enjoyment. Her voice calm but resolute.
Dushyanta finds himself obliged to surrender to her gentle yet kind stature. Shakuntala and Duswant carry the deer to the ashram for treatment, and the rishis invite the king and his companions to their humble abode to stay for the night. Duswant watches the care that Shakuntala shows to rejuvenate a creature he had thought was of no importance. That night, as he tried to sleep, Shakuntala's kind face kept appearing before his eyes. His heart felt a deep longing for the maiden who was so kind. He was falling in love. He asks if he could spend a month at the ashram so that he could gain some spiritual knowledge. The rishis agree readily. In a few days' time, he finally convinced another maiden who was a close friend of Shakuntala to give his message of love and desire for companionship. Shakuntala is unsure as usual, as she has never seen life being tied up to someone. She represented the free will of the forest itself. But her friend coaxed not to deny the king. As Shakuntala meets up with Dushyanta, she starts acknowledging the feelings that Dushyanta has for her. Her friends keep guard as their relationship grows. Their conversations flowed like the babbling brooks. Their laughter danced like sunlight through leaves, and their hearts sang like the birds hidden in the branches. Amidst the rustling leaves and the murmurs of the forest, love blossomed, untouched by time or reason. United by the invisible threads of destiny, Dushyanta and Shakuntala chose to unite their lives in accordance with the Gandharva marriage, a bond sealed not by elaborate ceremonies, but by the exchange of hearts and promises. Dushyanta,
Shakuntala, will you be my partner in this journey of life?
Shakuntala,
Yes, O king, with a heart as open as the sky.
but news of his father's ill health reaches the ashram, and he has to go back to care for his people. Before returning to his kingdom, Dushyanta placed his personal royal ring in Shakuntala's hand, a symbol of his promise, a reminder of his commitment to bring her to his palace as his queen. Dushyanta,
This ring is a proof of our union. Keep it safe, dear.
Shakuntala,
I shall await your return, a promise unbroken.
After Dushyanta left, Shakuntala found herself immersed in a world of dreams. Her thoughts were woven with the threads of her beloved Dushyanta, and day by day her heart danced to the rhythm of her daydreams. Shakuntala,
O Dushyanta, my heart's companion, when shall you return to claim me as your own?
However, destiny's currents were about to take a tumultuous turn. One day, as the sun cast its golden glow upon the ashrama, a powerful rishi, Durvasa, arrived at the threshold. His aura exuded power and austerity, but his temper was as fiery as the sun's blaze. Shakuntala failed to greet the rishi with reverence due to her thoughts of Dushyanta consuming her, and she remained oblivious to the sage's presence. Durvasa,
Greetings, child. Do you not know the proper etiquette to receive a guest?
Shakuntala had been absent-minded in her duties recently. Everyone knew what she was going through except this guest. Durvasa,
Your forgetfulness is a curse. The one you seek will forget about you.
Shakuntala was shocked as much as her other girl companions. One of them runs and holds the rishi's feet to ask for forgiveness and explains the situation. Durvasa reduces his curse. Durvasa, softening.
The curse shall be lifted when she shows him a personal token he gave her.
Time marched on, and Shakuntala's hope of Dushyanta's return slowly transformed into a silent yearning. She realized the churning of life growing inside her. Now she was determined to be with her partner. The rishis decided to send her and a few of her companions to the royal palace to meet Dushyanta. As the group ventured forth, they reached a point where a river lay before them, its waters glistening like a sapphire ribbon under the sun's warm gaze. A canoe ferry awaited them, promising passage to the other side of the river. Shakuntala,
The river calls and our journey continues.
with a heart brimming with hope, Shakuntala stepped onto the canoe, her thoughts a tapestry of love and longing. The river's depths seemed to hold secrets of its own, and her fingers trailed through the water's cool embrace. Unknowingly, the ring, the precious emblem of her love, the token bestowed by Dushyanta, slipped from her finger like a whisper. A fish swallows it immediately, thinking of its food. Reaching Dushyanta's court, she carried her heart's yearning into his presence, only to be met with confusion and the coldness of forgotten love. The symbol of their promise, the ring that once adorned her finger, was no longer there. Shakuntala,
Dushyanta, do you not recognize me? Your wife?
Dushyanta's gaze held only bewilderment, his memory of their love shrouded by the veil of oblivion. Dushyanta,
Who are you?
in her humiliation and heartbreak, Shakuntala doesn't spend another word. Her footsteps retrace their path, each step carrying her back to the forest, her tears mingling with the echoes of their lost love. Shakuntala becomes a mother and lovingly brings up her child as a child of nature.
While the river's currents carried the weight of forgotten promises, destiny was already at work to unravel the threads of love that time had momentarily concealed.
Many years later, in the bustling village nearby, a humble fisherman casts his net into the waters and manages to catch a huge fish only fit for the kings. And sure enough, it reaches the royal kitchen. While cutting the fish, the cook discovers the ring in the belly of the fish, recognizing the emblem of royalty. Soon the ring reaches Dushyanta.
Dushyanta gazing at the ring, his memory re-emerging, my ring, the seal.
As his eyes met the ring, a flood of memories surged within Dushyanta's mind, like a river finding its course after a long drought. The echoes of his love for Shakuntala resurfaced, bringing with them the warmth of emotions long suppressed. With the ring clasped in his hand, Dushyanta's heart beat with a newfound purpose. He was driven by an irresistible urge to find the woman who had once captured his heart, the woman whose memory had been hidden beneath the shadow of a curse. Setting out on a journey fueled by love and longing, Dushyanta followed the trail that led him to the hermitage of Shakuntala's father. But fate, with its twists and turns, revealed that the maiden he sought was no longer within those familiar walls. Undeterred, Dushyanta ventured deeper into the forest, his heart a compass guiding him toward the destiny that awaited. As he walked, he stumbled upon a sight that both amazed and surprised him. An audacious young boy, fearlessly prying open the jaws of a lion and counting its teeth. Dushyanta,
Brave child, you handle the fiercest with the confidence of a king.
Bharata,
Greetings, stranger. My name is Bharata, and I am the son of King Dushyanta.
Guided by the boy, Dushyanta's steps led him to a clearing within the forest, where he beheld a sight that touched his very soul, Shakuntala, his beloved wife, the woman whose memory he had once lost.
Dushyanta voice trembling, Shakuntala!
Tears of joy and recognition flowed freely as their eyes met. A reunion of hearts. A moment that transcended the confines of time and the vagaries of memory. Shakuntala, softly, Dushyanta, you remembered. Thank you for being with us. Please like and subscribe for more content coming soon.